What's up, y'all? We are back, episode 19 of the Colorado Rockies Out of the Park Baseball 24 series. We're here in the offseason 2029 2030, and we have gone through arbitration and made a couple, we made some offers, of course, but we made a extension offer to. Oh, I thought I offered this. Okay, well, I did offer this to Jackson Churio, 8 years, $186 million. Waiting for him to respond. I thought it was pretty good value for the player that we're getting there. He's a corner outfielder that can play center field pretty well, um, and he's really young. So try to keep him around long term. Pretty affordable deal. I think the highest it goes is like 26 million. So it's not going to break the bank long term. Um, Another move that I think I'm going to make is with the Tampa Bay Rays. So they have like no money available. They're rebuilding. They have some huge contracts on the books. Like Franco, honestly, is one of their better deals. But like Shane McClanahan making $47 million for the next couple of years. Where the heck is this other guy? Shane Baz is making 29 for the next 4 years. So they need to get out some of this money. And I'm going to do that for them, I think. So Shane McClanahan, one of the best pitchers in baseball. A workhorse, a true workhorse. Guy's going to give you 200 plus innings every year. The movement's concerning, of course. I don't love the 45 movement, but his ground ball, fly ball tendency is neutral. So I think that can negate some of the home runs. Obviously there's some risk here. We're going to be paying him about $34 million for the next 2 years, but, it's not really that bad, all things considered. So, we're giving up nothing for him. So it's not a prospect matter. It's the money, but, they're eating 30% of the deal. Our assistant GM says we should definitely do it. We have tons of money to spend. I think it's a no-brainer. I don't think we're going to get a guy who's going to frontline our rotation. We can go to the offseason center and look. Like Logan Gilbert, nice pitcher, but he's going to demand, more than what we're going to have to give McClanahan here. Grayson Rodriguez isn't number one as we saw in the postseason. Yeah, really no other pitchers here, so I think it's a good way to get a number one / number two starter maybe, but yeah, so we're really quick going to pull the trigger on this trade. And, it could backfire, but with the low movement. But, there's risk in every trade, I guess. So we have, kind of our rotation set here, I think. So it's going to be McClanahan at the top, Rodriguez, Ford Thompson, Dan Reinwald, and probably Chris Wood as our five. Phil Pott's going to get a shot as well. But I wouldn't mind rocking him in the bullpen for another year while he develops. Looks like some of his current ratings did go down since the last scouting update. Alvarado did decline his player option as well, so he probably won't be back, but he's not looking for a ton of money. It's possible I offer him something in that ballpark, but I'm cool running with Diaz, Phil Pott, and Garcia or Cheville at the back end. We'll bring back Cleveland, Ochoa, and we'll have some other guys too that are going to come up. But I'm happy with how this team looks for next year. Let's put it that way. A couple of decisions that I want to make are regarding Parker Meadows and Scott F. Ross. So everyone else has been offered a deal. Palm was a little expensive, but I'm actually okay giving him that. We have a lot of money to spend. He's a good backup catcher. But Parker Meadows, $2.6 million for basically a defensive replacement at this point in his career. I don't think I'm going to bring him back for that price. He's a low leader. Not like that's a huge deal, but he's not really playing the field for me. He's Zach Veen's defensive replacement. He'll play once a week maybe. But I do like having the backup center fielder who's a true center fielder. Maybe we keep him around just because I don't have another guy in mind in the upper minors or anything. Connor Griffin is a good outfielder, but he's more of a corner guy, and I don't want to force him into center field or anything if we have an injury. That's why I like having Churio out and right, because he can play center field in a pinch. I want Griffin getting everyday at bats too. I don't want him sitting there. So Jackson Churio did sign the extension, 8 years, $186 million. It's a risk because he did have a down year last year, but I think he could bounce back and turn it around and become the player he used to be. So it breaks down to $10 million this year, 17, 24 in his final year of arbitration there, and then 27 for 5 free agent years. We have a team options, age 33 season. So we don't have him too late in his career or anything. If he does bust, it's not like a huge long-term deal, but it's definitely significant, of course. So we did bring back Meadows there, so just like that, because a lot of our money was just taken up. We have a ton dropped in development and scouting, but McClanahan will be taking up a good amount of the money, and then Churio as well. Where the heck is he? Okay, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to go through awards here, I guess, since we're already here. Gold Gloves, you can check here for the AL. NL, we drew Romo, of course, mainstay in that Gold Glove spot in the NL. What is this, reliever of the year? This guy, Kurian, nice player. Then Rangel in the NL for Milwaukee. Class A gets a couple first place votes. None of our guys on there. Silver Sluggers, we should have some here. Here's the AL. Acuna's still kicking in his older age. NL, we have Zach Veen in left field and Betancourt at DH. So nice season from both of them. Lawlar continues to be just insane. Love to get my hands on him somehow, but I don't think it's going to happen. Rookie of the Year, this guy Castillo, NL. I don't think we had anyone eligible. Maybe Connor, what's his name? Connor Griffin? Connor Griffin, there you go. Maybe him next year, but not this year. Cleveland wins Manager of the Year, and Pirates win the Manager of the Year. Derek Shelton's still with the team. Spencer Strider wins AL Cy Young. Corbin Burns had an insane year. I think we played them late in the season. He destroyed us. Yeah, 7 1/3, no runs. And then I saw his stats. I was like, wow, that's an insane year. So he has won 4 Cy Youngs, 3 in the save, 1 in real life, of course. Yeah, pretty crazy. 248 innings. Imagine that. None of our guys up here. Aaron Nola for this San Francisco team is sick. That's disgusting. So Julio Rodriguez wins AL MVP, but he did blow up at his knee. That sucks. Acuna finishes second, and then Lawlar wins in the NL, taking 19 of the first place votes. Corbin Burns gets 11. This is the most I've ever seen a pitcher get. But well deserving. Maybe he should have won MVP. Honestly, I think I would have picked him over Lawlar. I mean, Lawlar did have a 6 season too, but Alex Ramirez finishes second. That duo is insane. Zach Veen finishes 5th. So after a couple of good, not great years, he's maybe returning back to his MVP type levels. So. Drew Jones for the Diamondbacks also finishes pretty high. Brian Betancourt. Wow, maybe that's 10th, I think. I don't really want to count, but yeah. He had a really nice year, led the league in average. And that's all for our team. So, there you go. We'll sim up to the next, probably free agent filings, and we'll come back then. Okay. So I just want to jump in here and kind of go over how the finances are going to I'm just going to alter them a little bit. So, in the comments of one of these previous videos, let me find your name really quick. They mentioned decreasing the inflation to save some of these contracts. from changing. It was Nickel Dinsky. Thank you. Yes, I changed the inflation from 1 to 4% to just 1 to 2%. I should honestly only do 1% to 1%, but we'll try this out and see how it changes things. We're not going to avoid the ridiculous contracts completely, but I mean, all this stuff is still like normal. Like, yeah, $36 million for a superstar. That makes sense. Maybe I'll drop the maximum contract. Maybe I'll turn it down to 12 years. Maybe that'll make a difference of some sort, and like just having these teams kind of make more logical decisions. So, just a little update on that. So moving ahead with free agency, we kind of already went over. There's not an amazing class. This guy's a really nice player, but I kind of mentioned how I feel it's kind of cheesy to sign these guys all the time. So I'm gonna leave him here for another team to snag up. But we have $52 million after the McClanahan deal, and not as much for extension. So a 1 year deal would work well for us. So a spot that I'm looking for is the bullpen. I think our rotation looks pretty solid. We have depth too, but we could use another guy behind Diaz and Philpott here. I mean, Shivili I would use him in high leverage, but if we have him in middle relief, I think that deepens our pen a little bit more. And we kind of have a full bullpen here, honestly. So Ochoa's out of options. Cleveland has options, but he's making a good amount of money, so I'd rather not send him down if we don't have to. I mean, maybe Ochoa gets traded at some point. I don't know. But bringing in a lefty reliever and kind of utilizing some of this depth a little bit better would be huge. So, the guy we let go this offseason, Jose Alvarado, makes a ton of sense to bring back. We have a lot of money to spend. I would not mind giving him a 1 year, $20 million deal. Would he take like a 1 year, 17? Okay, no. So we'll go to try 1 year, 18. See if we can get him to bite on that. Probably not. Okay, we'll do 1 year, 20. I'm actually cool with that. Again, we just have a ton of money to spend. There's not a ton I like in free agency. We don't have a ton of needs either. Like, Ty France is the best free agent. Real Muto, Swanson, like these guys are like mid-30s. I think expanding out the amount to reach free agency kind of changed things. Noelvi Marte is a nice player. He actually got non-tendered by Cincinnati this offseason, which is very surprising. I mean, he didn't have a great year, but he's coming off a fantastic one a couple years back. And by the way, I may change that free agency thing back to 6 years at some point. I don't know. Just by looking at how this kind of played out, I'm not sure I like it. Honestly, Matt Olson would be a fun player to bring in. I mean, I don't know where he'd play. That would probably... Yeah, he has nowhere to play because we're going to have Griffin at first this year, I think. What's his defense there? Yeah, he's fine. We'll probably have Griffin at first. I mean, that would require dealing like Zach Veen, but I'm not doing that, obviously. And Betancourt's, until he proves he can't hit, he's going to be in the lineup. So I'd like to bring in Olsen, but, oh yeah, 5-year deal, wow. That's crazy. Besides that, Denzel Clark's been a fun player to watch in the save. He was one of these guys who came out of nowhere. Philly traded for him. I thought they got a steal, and he's been a good player, but, not amazing. He would be fun to bring in as, a fourth outfielder type. 3.4. I mean, we have Parker Meadows here. He's kind of the same player, just a little bit worse with the bat. But a little bit better with the glove. I guess they're about the same with the glove, but he'd be fun to bring in, though. Low leader, maybe not. Maybe not. looking through some other guys, O'Neal Cruz would be cool, but has he been any good in the save? I haven't really seen his name pop up at all. Yeah, he's been about like a league average hitter. Not much with the glove. Um, Trent Grisham, bring him back. Luis Garcia, um, fun player, but he's not really the guy he used to be. Nolan Gorman would be cool to bring in, but doesn't really have position. I mean, he could be like a super utility guy. Does mash 116 WRC plus throughout his career. How many years does he want? He wants 4 years. Yeah, no, I don't think so. This is a guy I would bring in. It's not. He's actually played an independent ball last year. 24 years old. Not quite the stature of that other guy prospect wise. Um, Spencer Steer. Yeah, I mean, a bullpen guy. Alvarado. That's a big bring in once we get him. If we get him, I assume we will. But Doval. If we can get Doval or like another guy like that in here in the building, I would give him a 1 year, the most expensive bullpen in history. But would he accept the same deal as? Okay, no, he wouldn't even accept the 1 year for 20. Um, Go with more of a budget guy like Brian Abreu, who's pitched well throughout his career. I feel like he's about T6 scream fly ball. Maybe not so much. I would love to bring in Logan Gilbert, but that's an outrageous deal. McClanahan's making the same amount, but only for 2 years, which is why I preferred him over Gilbert. Um, I can't have another side armor. Like all my right-handed middle relievers were side armors, which a little tough. Oh my God, how many teams did he play for this year? Holy crap. Jorge Lopez, a more budget option. Extreme ground ball. A little bit something different out of the pen. God, there's just so much to look at here. Major League. Let's see. How did he do last year? He's played for so many teams. Oh my goodness. Wow. So, I can't even like read this. Okay. Yeah, he really hasn't been any good in a couple of years. Grayson Rodriguez. I mean, I'm kind of going through this, and there's not like a ton that I love for like what we're looking to spend. This guy's interesting. Fastball, curveball. Doesn't want a ton of money. He pitched a little bit in the majors, but it wasn't any good. Does he have options? 2 option years. That makes me a little more interested. Okay. Well, I'll look through the rest of the free agents off camera. Maybe look at some trades. Maybe try to take on some more bad contracts and see if we can kind of add talent that way. So yeah, we'll be back in just a second. All right, so we're back with another trade, and let me quickly go over before we jump into this trade what our infield situation looks like next year. So, as of now, tentatively, we have Griffin at first, Krebs at second, Wolclow at third, and Cunningham at short. So, Cunningham, I'm not sure if he's gonna be a starter. I mean, he was pretty decent when he came up, but wasn't like didn't blow me away. So I'm not ready to lock into him as my shortstop necessarily. If he performs well, he'll definitely get that spot. But I would like some insurance in case things go south. Krebs will probably be my second baseman. Can almost guarantee that. I love his batter like profile, I guess, but he's 26, and his ratings he still isn't fully developed. And if he's only this guy that he is now, he's not really a starter. So I kind of need him to develop at this point. He's 26, so the clock's ticking on him. And Wolclow and Griffin are kind of locked in. But that middle infield, I could use like another guy. So Alex Mooney, incredible defender and not a horrible bat. About league average, he's put up about a 91 WRC plus. He put up a 91 WRC plus last year. He's a 84 for his career. Take away his rookie year though, and he's been in like the 90s. So, an awesome, like, amazing glove over his short, and not a horrible bat. And a lot of teams were interested in Kennebel Sevelin, who made a couple appearances for me in the majors last year, but 25-year-old, and we have a ton of pitching depth in the upper minors, and he's kind of one of these guys that I would love to keep, but he has a ton of value. Does have a couple of option years. I might regret trading him away, but he's a three-pitch guy with low stuff. A guy that might not perform well in my ballpark, although he did pitch 7 2/3 shutout innings for me last year. So, with that being said, we're going to flip him for Mooney. This guy, Becerra, who has an option year, 26 years old, and a pretty decent arm here. Like, probably just as good in my eyes as Sevelin. Maybe a little bit worse, but, he has 4 pitches, so, just another guy to have, I guess. And then Chris Bendick, we got them to throw in. Big speed, big range in the center field. Future fourth outfielder, I would say. So 24 years old. He'll start the year in AA for me, I would assume. And yeah, so kind of capitalizing on Sevelin, who was in IFA 2022 by the Rockies in real life. Has really ascended through my organization, but I'm ready to, capitalize on his value. So we're going to go and get Mooney here, and the fans are happy about that, so that's good. And it looks like the Yankees get the #1 pick. Wow, that's wild. Okay, so Becerra and Mooney will both go on the 40-man. And, yeah, we'll see how the lineup shapes up to begin the year, but I would assume Mooney's my starting shortstop. I think Cunningham will probably be my, utility guy in the infield. He'll probably play a ton, though. I could see, Cunningham playing every 4th game at short, and maybe every fourth at short, and then every 5th game at second, maybe, once a week over at third. I still don't know what to do with Braden Holcomb. He had a nice year last year, but didn't blow me away by any means. And Wolkow, I want him to play third, I think, with Griffin over at first for the moment. So where Holcomb fits on this team, I'm not sure. He does have some outfield ability, so he could play a corner, but he could be a guy we look to move before the season begins, just to clear up some of the depth, because we do have Daniel Covett, who's kind of the same player. I don't know. We'll see what happens when we get to that point. But yeah, we'll be back with our next move here. Okay, so we're back. You may notice a difference in mic quality. Changing new mic right here. Mixing it up. So also have the headphones in. So this might pick up every little noise in this room, but we'll have to play with it for now. Full disclosure, it's about a week and a half since I last recorded this episode, but I've caught myself up, and we should be good here. So a couple things to update here in the off season. I offered a contract to Zach Bean, contract extension. Maybe this is a bit of an overpay, but we had money to spend, and I wanted to keep one of the original guys around that was kind of here from the start, one of the original prospects. So we gave him a 6-year deal, team option in the last year, player opt-out after his age 32 season. An AAV, I think that's around $32 million or so, 33. I think it's a pretty fair deal for a 28-year-old. We'll get him up till his age 33 season, up to age 34. So happy with this deal. Keep one of the original guys around. He's only a corner outfielder, maybe a DH later in his career, but the OSA doesn't agree with us on the scouting, but my scout's really good, and he's a mainstay in this lineup, so I want to keep him around basically. So happy with that. We also had a international signing that I really liked, Jesus Rojas. Wound up dumping our entire budget into him, $6.4 million. But the range and error, this dude's gonna be like a perennial center fielder if his bat plays. Um, the eye's not great, but the contact, avoid Ks, gap power, and the home run power is not bad, and the eye's not horrible. So I think he can be like an absolute stud on this team and high work ethic. So only 16, a lot of bust potential there, but a guy I'm very excited for. So we're gonna keep moving forward in the offseason here. Nothing really else to announce, I don't think. Again, it's been a little bit since I last recorded, but um, we had a budget increase here. It looks like so 232 million to 240 million. It's good. I mean, $8 million is not nothing. Um, we still have some money to spend here. We have max scouting and development. Um, we made a lot of big signings, like big 1 year deals, like Jose Alvarado, 20 mil for a year. Doubt he winds up being worth that. We're also paying Edwin Diaz, but he's only partially retained. Um, and the bullpen, I'm not concerned about it, but we do have a lot of guys here without options. I don't think any of these, whatever, one, two, was it 7 guys here? I don't think any of them have options. I think Cleveland actually does. I was looking to deal him, but maybe we utilize those option years a little bit with him. But if Garcia and Becerra kind of like guys with options that we can use to send up and down. I like to have at least one guy in the bullpen where I could flex and kind of move that spot around to have fresh arms. But at the moment, we don't have that. So, Philpott has options, but he's been way too good to even consider moving up and down at this point. So, that's one thing to do. Maybe look to move one of those bullpen pieces. Also, maybe look to unclog this, whatever this infield is right now. I mean, Cunningham can start the year in the minors. I'm cool with that, even though he is ready to play. But we have so many. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infielders for 3 spots. And I don't know where the playing time is going to be there necessarily. I mean, Cunningham could play second and short and fill in, basically a 3-man rotation there. But I don't know where Holcomb fits in all of this. He had a pretty good year last year, not fantastic, but very good. I mean, he had 3 WAR season. But right now he's on the outside looking in our infield rotation because I want Wolk out at third. Even though the glove isn't great, I think it's good enough to play there with a really good defensive infield around him. Maybe he flexes in for Griffin once in a while. It could even be and then I have Covett too, who had an awesome year for us last year. I don't know how this is all going to work out. Maybe an injury makes it easier on us. But as I see it right now, this infield's going to kind of go Krebs, Mooney, and Cunningham going to share time in the middle infield, and then Griffin, Holcomb, and Wolkow will kind of split first, third, and maybe some DH time. And then Covett, I don't know what I do with him, but he might start the year in the minors just by, how this roster shakes up. And then, we have Wyatt Langford, we have Parker Meadows. They'll kind of fight out for that outfield spot, and then maybe this isn't as bad as I'm kind of making it out to. Now that I'm kind of explaining it, I think we can make this work. I want Coy James to get some at-bats. Cody Schreier probably deserves to be in consideration a little bit, although he's kind of fallen off. But yeah, we're going to let's check out the preseason because, this is when some bonus demands drop, and maybe we can get kind of a pretty nice deal here. Brandon Donovan's the guy I looked at earlier, but, I don't think we need another hitter on this team. Denzel Clark's been a really good defensive center fielder for Philadelphia throughout the save. Had a really bad year last year, but, really cheap. If he wants a minor league deal, he does. I'm going to offer Denzel Clark a minor league deal. So, Vaughn Grisham, his demand dropped quite a bit. Still an 8-year deal. I don't know if he's good enough to play shortstop, but I don't know if I'd want him there. Bautista, probably not a good pitcher for our park. Kevin Ginkel I like, but not great. Maybe we go for some minor league deals like Bo Bichette. Does he want? He doesn't want a minor league deal. Um, is he gonna get up? Yeah, he's gonna get upset if he's playing on the bench. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm a huge Johan Duran guy from our twin save. He's not quite the pitcher he was in that series. He wants a major league deal, which I can't do at this point. Trent Grisham. Alejandro Kirk wants quite a bit of money. I'm not afraid to throw money out there right now, but I also want to like play it smart and if we can use this money to get some over slot draftees, like I think that might be a better use, kind of like what we did last year, um, to some extent. Bring back Chris Bryant. How did he do last year? He got hurt. Yeah, I mean, if he only wants a minor league deal, I'd totally like to bring him back. Kind of finish out his career here in Colorado, where he had some pretty awesome seasons. Some other minor league, maybe like an offensive first catcher like William Contreras. Um, this is kind of a lot of money for these minor league deals, but again, we have the money. If they don't make the team, we cut them. Like it's not a big deal. Zeke Duran, who I wanted last year, and wound up being horrible. Um, Another guy, maybe we'll throw a minor league deal, see how he does in spring training. If we have some injuries, maybe he makes the team. So, yeah, we'll sim ahead probably to maybe spring training, maybe opening day, depending on how things play out here. So we'll be back. So I actually forgot I offered this deal. So George Wolkow, who has like 550 plate appearances in his career. Sorry, it's like 640 plate appearances in his career. I offered him like a not insignificant contract, but an 8-year deal, 85 million, kind of like the Ronald Acuna contract. If you want to compare it to that, I think that's what he got. Maybe a little bit more, maybe like 100 mil. But one of these like bank on this guy before he hits his prime, which could also backfire if he winds up sucking. But I'm really confident in George. So, it's an AAV of just above 10 million. We buy out, I think, 3 free agent years, maybe 4. I forgot how. I think probably 3 free agent years. Team option at the end. Some bonuses here, which I probably went a little high on, but but yeah, he'll be our third baseman slash corner infielder for the future. Can he play? He can play a little outfield too if we need him to. But yeah, we signed him and a little extension there, so we'll keep moving ahead here. Okay, so we're just about at opening day, and had a couple injuries. So Edwin Diaz, who was going to be our closer, went down, blew out his elbow, so he'll be out for the year. Um, so that didn't really work out. We got 17 games out of him, 15 innings. Um, but whatever. The bullpen kind of has worked itself out, and Jackson Churio went out as well, but he'll be back by like next week. So not a concerning injury by any means. Um, but we had a bullpen crunch. So Victor Juarez, who had a really nice year last year, and was once a promising prospect for us, now 26 years old, and his ratings dipped a little bit in the offseason, and there were a lot of really good deals for him. So kind of selling high on him after a nice breakout year out of the pen for us. And also Will Matusik, who former 11th round pick, hit pretty well in Double A the last couple seasons, but we have a lot of infield depth in the upper minors, so I'm cool giving him up. And in return, Chris Caldwell, the lesser of the guys, kind of just a 24-year-old throw-in first base prospect. He'll probably play in Double A for me to start the year. But the big prize is this guy, Guri Rodriguez, who is a reliever only throws 90 to 92, but incredible stuff, incredible slider and changeup. The fastball and cutter serviceable as well. So a 4-pitch guy out of the bullpen with no major league experience. The only problem is he has one option year. I guess they've had him on their 40-man for a couple of years now, which is fine. We get him, we could use him as a kind of up and down guy this year for us, and then moving forward, we can kind of, put him in a long-term bullpen role. So, the low work ethic, whatever. I mean, maybe it doesn't age well, but we get a really good reliever for the next 7 years. So I think for a guy who's kind of our last guy in the pen, in Juarez, who's out of options, I think this is a really good return for us. There were some position players that were really, really interesting that I seriously thought about. I guess I can go back, but whatever. But I felt like, our pitching depth in the upper minors isn't great at the moment. So I think having a guy we can kind of play up and down, kind of on the bus between AAA and the majors, I think that's important. So we're gonna make that trade, and so Rodriguez will go on the 40. That's okay. We have spaces. Then we'll assign him to AAA to begin the year. So this is how the bullpen wound up, or the rotation and pitching staff in general wound up shaking up. So Philpott had an awesome spring. I'm going to slot him into the rotation to begin the year with Ford Thompson, who really struggled. A lot of really bad outings for him. I still have hope for him long term, but he'll start the year in the pen. I kind of thought that would be reversed, but, just kind of how things worked out. He'll be in the 7th inning role. Chavilli in the 8th, and Alvarado will close games for us to start the year, our $20 million man. Then the rest of the rotation, McClanahan, Rodriguez, Ryan Wald, Philpott, and Wood. Wood making it despite a shaky spring, although, this last game kind of blew up his ERA a bit. Then the rest of the pen, Ochoa, Cleveland, Efros, Garcia, and Cox. Cox kind of that last guy in. He's out of options, but, former top prospect. I want to give him a shot here, and, the rest of the bullpen, I trust most of these guys, so no issues there. And then for our lineups, this is what they look like to begin the year. Basically, Krebs got the starting job at second despite a really rough spring. But Cunningham's going to play every 4th at second, every 6th at third, and every 5th at short. I actually might swap these. I want to get Mooney some more time there. But this is kind of how everything shook up. So Meadows had a really good spring, so he gets the backup outfielder job. Not really surprising. We're paying him quite a bit of money to be a 4th outfielder. So he'll be like a replacement sub on defense for Veen out in left. And Wolkow, Krebs, Holcomb, Mooney are starting infield with Cunningham mixing in there a bit. Romo and Palma behind the plate, obviously. And then Bettencourt, DH, and Covett as our lefty platoon in that case. And then Zach Veen, Miguel Bleis, and Connor Griffin to begin the year in the outfield until Jackson Churio comes back. So that's how things shake up to begin the year. Churio, I think I'm going to put in center field to begin the year as well. He played really well there, better than Bleis did. So Bleis will shift to right. Churio in center. He's our big investment. So I want to play in the most valuable position on the field, or at least in the outfield, I should say. So here we go. New season. Hope the offseason treated you well. This is a reminder you should win it all this year. I agree. I think our team is shaping up to be pretty good despite some injuries to begin the year. So really quick, let's check our top prospects. We didn't have anyone in the top 10, but Ford Thompson sits at number 15 after 34 really good innings last year. He'll start the year in the pen, as mentioned. Jaime Cooper had an up and down spring, but his ratings, they did jump up, but now they went back down. I'm in between him I think I'm going to put him in AA to start the year. Let's try to get him kind of accelerated. Juan Rivera, who was our first-round pick last year, he slots in at number 53. High hopes for this guy. He held his own in rookie ball last year as a 18-year-old, so he'll be back there to begin the season. Could push up to A-ball and professional ball. Not professional ball, but, full season ball, I should say. Greg Melvin, who was a second-round pick just last year, slots in at number 70. That contact's already so high at just over 19 years old. He'll start the year in A-ball. Really excited for him. He got a taste of it last year and held his own for the most part. You know, the high strikeout rate, but I think he's too good for rookie ball. So he'll get a full season down in A ball. Josh Dahlman, a first round pick last year. So, you know, those 3 draft picks looking pretty good, all in the top 100. You know, he's in rookie ball. He's a 18-year-old with a ton of bust potential here. So, you know, we knew what we were getting when we drafted him. Oliver Cesena, once a top 10 prospect, I believe, once the number 1 prospect in baseball, has fallen from grace. You know, that's why these guys are lottery tickets, and, you know, you shouldn't rely on international signings to carry your farm. You know, that avoid case is still at a 20. He can't seem to really figure that out. Now almost 22 years old. That's tough, but, you know, maybe you can become a decent player for us. He's still got some good infield ratings, and, you know, the work ethic, intelligence is all there. But, you know, no longer like in our long-term plans as our shortstop. Erminio Toto, on the other hand, I think he can kind of break out this season. He'll start the year in high A and definitely came on at the end of last year in high A. You know, he'll repeat the level, but, you know, the ratings are finally starting to come along as our top international guy a couple of years back. Now almost 23, but we're taking our time with him. Connor Griffin, he'll graduate. Same with Cunningham. Alvarado Cobbs, our free agent signing, when was this? A couple years ago, in 2029. Still in. Actually, I'm going to send him to. Oh, yeah, he's already in the Dominican League. Never mind. So, yeah, we called him up. He'll get his first taste of pro ball this year. I mean, Phil Cates is still here. He's a former second-round pick. You know, the upside's not really crazy, but he could be a piece. This guy, I guess, is the last guy we'll go through. Masato Chilcutt, a former second-round pick, now in Double A. Really good catcher ability. The floor is pretty damn high as a 23-year-old, almost 24. I expect him to possibly be my backup catcher next year, if not at some point this season, depending on how things shake up at that position. Derek McConnell, who we got in a trade a couple of years back for McCade Brown, who, again, wound up having a good season, but I had no spot for him on our team. Yeah, he'll graduate at some point, probably this year, I would imagine. He's kind of my next guy up. And then, you know, all these guys are kind of in the lower minors. Joe Wallace, I guess, is a guy in A-ball. I still haven't set my rosters for those levels yet, but yeah, that'll wrap up the off-season. We'll go through the first couple of games. So we lose 6-0 on opening day. McClanahan struggles in his first start. And the offense, nothing really going there. So we look to bounce back in game 2 with Randy Rodriguez on the mound. And we win 13-5, so that's good. Efros goes down for a couple days. Big day for the offense. Big bounce back after getting shut out opening day. Everyone has a hit. So Rodriguez not the best, but Cleveland, Thompson, and Garcia close out the game. And then game 3, looking for the series win against our division rivals. And we lose 2-0. So boom or bust for the offense this series. Ryan Wald, a really good start, but nothing going against Luke Lito, who is a really fantastic pitcher. What does Dodgers' rotation look like if he's their 3? Oh, he was their 2. That's weird. Bobby Miller, still kicking it, despite, you know, some low movement. Then Christian Javier, a nice pitcher who I think they signed this offseason. Never mind. I thought he was a free agent. And then Luke Lito. Yeah, okay, so, you know, the Dodgers are going to be a good team this year, of course, with their huge payroll. But that'll wrap up this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back very soon with our next one. I think episode 19 will be the next one. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.